This is a comparison video between the M1 helmet and the SSH. We'll call it a series of helmets. This is a SSH-40, and both sides, American and Russian, didn't really change the helmets much from World War II into the 80s. The M1 helmet was had a lot of different improvements over the years, and the SSH-40 was replaced by the SSH-68 in 1968. Basically the same, type, same steel helmet, pretty much. So I think this would be a good comparison to compare the two helmets with. This helmet has a Vietnam cover on it, but all the parts date from mid-50s, and this is 1956 dated, so perfect comparison, I think, for here. Alright, so start off with the liner system. As you can see, the SSH does not compare at all with the M1 helmet. M1 helmet beats the liner category every way. So when a projectile or bullet strikes the helmet, it's going to cave the steel in, and all you've got is a leather and a little pad under that between you and the steel. Not good enough. It's going to really hurt your head, probably give you brain damage. In the M1 helmet, you've got a separate liner shell made of a resin-soaked cloth. It's real tough. So when steel caves in, it's going to have some resistance against this liner. It's not going to come in as far and hit you really on the head. Either way, I know an M1 helmet can stop a .45 caliber pistol round. I would assume this would be the same for the SSH helmet. Either way, even if you're wearing a modern Kevlar helmet, if you get shot by a bullet, it's going to knock you unconscious. So I think you have a better chance of, not having any serious injury when you have an M1 helmet on compared to an SSH-40. Take a sip of some water here. Alright, now we'll talk about chin strap. SSH is a web chin strap sewn directly onto the bail. M1 in World War II, they were sewn on, but if a sewn on chin strap breaks, it's going to be hard to sew on a new one. So that's why post-World War II, U.S. added these metal clips that you can easily replace a chin strap in the field with an M1 helmet, as opposed to an SSH series helmet. So M1's winning on liner and chin strap so far. So now let's talk about the, coverage of the helmet. With the SSH, you got these flared out edges near your ears, so it's going to give you a little bit added protection compared to the M1. M1, I don't know, it could be the same. It's pretty close, coverage-wise, but I don't know, it's probably a tie, maybe the SSH-1 in the coverage category. So now let's talk about paint or texture with a SSH series helmet. Yeah, one-handed there. Alright. This is just stains from poor storage, probably stored in an abandoned military base in Russia or something like that. So I forget about that. Paint. The paint has no texture. It's just plain green paint. So when it gets wet, it's going to shine a lot more than an M1 helmet. An M1 helmet in World War II, they had crushed cork texture. And then post-World War II, they had a sand silica texture. So it would glare a lot less in combat, which you do not want glare in combat. Also, in World War II, Marines had helmet covers. Army experimented with them, but they looked too close to SS helmet covers, and there was a lot of friendly fire accidents, so they got rid of that. But in Vietnam, covers were standard issue. I believe in Afghanistan, when the Russians were in Afghanistan, they had covers on their helmets, but M1 had it first, so. And also the covers, you can conceal yourself with foliage, put in the slits in the camo. So it's going to you can hide a lot better with an M1 helmet than you can with a SSH helmet. Also, I guess we'll talk about function of the helmet. With M1, you can take out the liner, and you can dig with it, you can wash yourself with it, you can cook with it. You can do a lot of things with an M1 helmet. Can't really do anything with a SSH series helmet. If you look in the liner, I suppose you could dig with it, but then when you put it on, you're going to be covered in dirt. So M1 wins. M1's winning on chin strap, liner and concealment and functionality. Only thing SSH has going for it is maybe some more coverage on the ears. But I think the SSH-68 steel helmet is still in very limited use, or maybe not that limited, with Russian, National Guard and stuff. M1 is in very limited use. Some Coast Guard vessels and stuff, the Navy's pretty much replaced it probably, but Coast Guard and Navy SEALs, when they're in training, they use an M1 liner. So it's in very limited use today. But the M1 has been copied by so many foreign countries. It's just an iconic and a good helmet. It just wins in every category except for, maybe coverage. You can't really compare the two that much. The M1's just all-around better helmet, and it's a helmet that you would rather wear in combat compared to this one. Alright. Have any questions or anything? Leave it in the comment section. Thanks for watching.